All right, hello and welcome to this weather update. We're going to talk a little bit. I was contemplating whether to do a weather update. I'm like, yeah, I better do one because we have a weather event that is going to be occurring that could involve some flooding, some thunderstorms coming. But we've had an unusual swing of temperatures. That's the first thing I want to get to. The temperatures today have been in the upper 30s to around 40 degrees, and the winds have been really strong. And as a result, it's actually felt, and I was out earlier today, it felt like it was in the 20s. All right, so because that wind, you notice the wind chill is 29, very chilly. Yeah, I know. I couldn't believe when I saw a guy wearing shorts. You know, these people with the shorts on, and he had boat shoes and everything. I'm like, what the freak is wrong with these people? All right, I don't understand how anyone could wear shorts today. All right, a little pet peeve. All right, I don't want to spend any more time on that, but we do want to talk about how the temperature has swung around yesterday. And as you know, yesterday I was with MTA Prodigy and Matt Camper. We were doing a tour of Deer Park, and it was when we got out there. We'll go all the way back here to tomorrow. I'm into yesterday. It was the 14th. All right. And look at the temperatures at Farmingdale Airport, and it was very similar. It's not that far from Deer Park, so this is a similar vantage point here. So it was actually fairly warm in the afternoon here. I mean, there was a sea breeze by the afternoon, so it was in the mid and upper 60s, but still warm enough to go outside and not need a jacket. But you'll see what happened. So we went from 69, and then when that front came through, that backdoor cold front, the winds shifted to the east and picked up in intensity, very strong. So we had a very strong wind, and the temperatures literally dropped almost 20 degrees in a matter of an hour or two with that backdoor cold front. Those things can be very impressive, and the wind shifted to the east, and we had the cold air ever since, and the temperatures continued to drop and stay pretty much in the 40s. And you take a look at these winds; they're really impressive, and I'm pretty sure that could be some coastal flooding already starting. News 12 did not talk about it because they're too busy talking about, you know what they're too busy talking about at national news, Syria and all that other crap that isn't even happening in our area. All right, so I was Farmingdale. I want to go a little further west. We're going to just take a look at the difference between Long Island and New Jersey before we talk about that storm. So yesterday was even hotter in New Jersey, though. All right, now it's cold there now with the backdoor front. They've been in the upper 30s to around 42. But you could see what happened yesterday. So Tom's River, it was much hotter yesterday. In fact, and it was when the front passed through Tom's River, it was even more impressive. So Tom's River got into the mid 80s again yesterday. So you can see the difference. How Tom's River was well into the mid 87 yesterday, whereas Long Island was almost 20 degrees hotter in Tom's River yesterday, which is unbelievable. It's just such a hot place. And so what happened was that front came through, but it didn't come through until later. So even though, while we had already dropped to 50 degrees, Tom's River was still 72. It took a couple more hours for that front to reach Tom's River, and it finally did. Backdoor fronts don't move fast. But then when it finally moved through, you can see the temperatures drop. You can see it hit 87 yesterday in Tom's River. I guess that's why a lot of old people like to live in Tom's River, because they like the heat. It's like Florida, I guess. I don't know, but it's hot, man. That is too hot. That climate, I'm telling you. I once thought about relocating there, but I'm glad I never did. I would never want to live there. It's too hot. It gets too hot when they get that hot weather there for whatever reason, because of their location. You know, if you like the heat and you like, sparse activity, Tom's River is a place for you, but not me. Anyway, let's get to the storm now that's coming up. I want to look at the weather briefing and some of the computer models. As you can see, I mean, look at these gusts. I mean, especially on the Jersey Shore, there's got to be some flooding. I'm surprised the news is not talking about this storm. But before I get to that briefing, I just want to talk about the impact of the storm so far. We have, you can see right here, 6,686 outages. So the power outage number has jumped in the past couple of hours, and there's going to be scattered power outages as a result of this wind. So let's take a look at them and see where they are. So we have three major ones here that I want to talk about. We have one in Oceans, actually one in Oceanside right here. That's 2,500 customers. All right, there, 2,500 customers, and this one here, which is 1,284 customers in Island Park. It looks like a pretty big outage too in both of those areas. And then there's another large one further out east in Holbrook over here. And that is 1,947 people out. So the winds are starting, and the conditions are going to get worse. Well, now let's look at that briefing. All right, so here's the briefing. Strong frontal system. All right, so we have this strong frontal system coming through, and here are the impacts. Heavy rain, up to 2 to 3 inches of rain. It could be minor to locally moderate flooding of urban areas and low-lying roads and small streams. All right, and this goes from late tonight and tomorrow afternoon. Coastal impacts, minor to locally moderate coastal flooding, inundation of 1 to locally 2 feet above ground in vulnerable areas, minor dune erosion possible. And this is during times of high tide tonight and Monday morning at vulnerable locales. All right, the winds 15 to 30 miles an hour with gusts to 40 miles an hour, isolated power outages, and a few downed tree limbs. All right, and on the water, things are going to be rough, with seas could be up to 14 feet on the ocean and up to 7 feet on the sound. So the greatest impacts: heavy rain, limited. The coastal impacts are going to be elevated. Strong winds will be limited, but the marine influence is going to be significant. And so the heavy rain, 2 to 3 inches across the entire tri-state. Now, we haven't had rain in a while. It's been a little while since we've had a lot of precipitation, so it'll probably get absorbed into the ground okay, but in our more urbanized areas where it can't run off easily, we're going to actually look at that rainfall map actually in a little bit there. It'll be different. So again, this just pretty much goes over the coastal flooding aspect of it and the event summary right here. So it's going to be really rough later tonight, probably overnight. I would say the worst of it's going to probably be between 2 a.m. and 11 a.m. or something like that. And this is the final briefing. So now we're going to go and look at that precipitation forecast map and some computer models. So here's their rainfall map, and see, up 2.25 to 2.5 inches of rain. It's going to be a lot of rain in areas, especially depending on wherever these thunderstorms pop up. And there's going to be thunderstorms, because we're going to go and look at some of the computer models now, and you'll see the way the thunderstorms are going to be. Okay, so this is the GFS. Show you here. I'll just show you the general look of the storm. First of all, you can see it's a really strong storm, and you can see that low, that secondary low that forms, and that really heavy rain that just blossoms over PA. So I'm just doing this to show you the larger look of the storm. It's a big storm, all right. But I want to go local. All right. So this is the GFS, which is not great for precipitation modeling, but I'll just show you the heavy amount of precipitation that's occurring. And this is in with the warm front that's going to come in, and then the cold front later on that is going to bring that heavy rain and thunderstorms perhaps to the area, right? But I really don't want to pay too much attention to that. I want to look at the NAM. All right. So in this, I'm using the highest resolution NAM, the 3-kilometer resolution NAM, so you can see what's going on. So you could see it modeling the heaviest showers already. These areas right here that are already popping up as we go past midnight, and it only gets worse. And there's going to be a line. You can see it right here. This line could have some severe thunderstorms in it. I mean, very impressive line. But I would think that the marine influence would harm it somewhat on Long Island, but it holds a lot of it together for New York City. But as it moves east over Long Island, you can see it kind of weakens a little bit. Actually, there's several lines that form, breaks up into several lines, and then another line that comes through later on toward late morning. That one could hold together and bring some pretty heavy precipitation and thunder and lightning to the area. And then another line, well, that one looks like it moves away to the north, but then it moves out. So yeah, really impressive. I want to look at the HRRR. Actually, we should do is look at the how much precipitation falls. Let's look at actually how much rain it's going to give us. Total rainfall. Total accumulated precip. Alright, so here we go. Here's what it looks like with the rainfall amounts. And it looks like, again, that marine influence would help Long Island somewhat. The heaviest rain would fall over the city and points to the west and north, whereas the marine influence could help weaken the thunderstorms a little bit when they move in, because the warm front's going to come in, and then the cold front is going to come in, so that warm air may cool off somewhat when it moves over the ocean, and therefore weaken any thunderstorms that happen. But New Jersey better watch out, and the city better watch out. And again, some of these purpler amounts, these are amounts over 2 inches of rain for that. All right, so let's go ahead and look at the HRRR model, which again will only go out to 19Z. That gives us significantly more rain. All right, but I want to look at the radar on that. Let's see what how it's modeling. It covers most of the snow. So the HRRR is a little different. It's a little quicker, it seems like. It's a little more spread out with the rain field. And go ahead and look at the HDRPS, which, yeah, I like this one. Yeah, this one actually I think is a much better form. So this one is more closer to the NAM. And developing that line. And I really do think there's going to be a line of thunderstorms that's going to develop and could be quite strong to severe. And then that line moves over the area, over Long Island, late morning. That's what I think is going to happen. So anywhere from, as far as the thunderstorm threat, I would say anytime between 8 a.m. and, depending on where you are, obviously the further west you are, the sooner it's going to be. So over New Jersey, it'll probably be more like 8 a.m. And over Long Island, it'll be more like probably 9, 10, 11 a.m. You know, as this thing moves east. But this is impressive, very impressive storm for this time of the year. Very impressive. Yeah, that's some pretty impressive between the wind, the rain. It's going to be stormy. That's pretty much going to be it on this video of the storm. Well, actually, no, a couple of things I want to show you more. All right, I want to show you this, and this is the air temperature, 2-meter air temperature forecast from the HDRPS. So I want you to just take a look at, because we're going to have it's going to warm up overnight very quickly. Again, just as quickly as it cool down, the temperatures are going to go up. And that's what's going to cause the instability in the thunderstorms. You can see all that warm air over here starting to get over New Jersey. Of course, I would not be surprised if Tom's River makes a run at 70 again tomorrow, because it's always the hot spot there. That's why I'm going to call it Hot River, New Jersey. But you can see here the heat coming in here. You can see definitely going to get into the 60s and almost touches 70, I think. In Tom's River, I bet it hits 70 tomorrow in Tom's River. I'm going to make a bet. It hits 70. It might hit 70. It warms up over Long Island too, not quite as dramatically. We'll probably get into the upper 50s and low 60s before it cools off later on. But I just wanted to show this to you, this warmth that's going to, and another bit of warmth here that's going to occur over here. This warmth that's going to occur, and that's what's causing the instability. It's important, because if cold like this, you're not going to get that kind of instability. I want to see if the NAM gives us this information too. So let's see. We can get that with the NAM as well. Yeah, all right, so we'll do the air temperature on the NAM too as well. So here we go. So and you can see that warmth that's coming up. So we have a warm front, cold front combination for tomorrow. That's coming up. All right, so I'm going to look at the GFS too. If I do this with the GFS too, might as well. So again, you can see that warm front, cold front combo right there coming through. So it's very important. This is why that's what's going to feed a lot of the instability, is that warm sector tomorrow. All right, one more thing that I got to show you. I realize we have a problem on the train. Yeah, it's on the main line too. So, and that'll conclude this. Yeah, so looking at Long Island Railroad's Twitter, and I got an email message too about this, and luckily I had just missed this. Going back home, I didn't have any problems today on the trains, but apparently there was debris on the tracks at Hicksville, and it caused some delays of about 16 minutes or so on the main line. So yeah, you know, typical that this would happen on the main line. No debris on the tracks on the Babylon branch, though. The trains I was on were actually not that crowded all today, so people. I'm worried that this hourly service is going to start hurting ridership. I think a lot of people are going down to the Babylon branch, so this has to be corrected immediately by the new president. He actually tomorrow is his first day, so hopefully we'll start seeing the beginnings of some small changes this week for the better here, because this kind of stuff here, debris on the tracks. Again, why is it only happening on the main line? Again, it's because the main line is being neglected. So anyway, this is a weather update, but I figured I'd just add that in there. Anyway, have a good night. Be safe tomorrow, especially in the early part of the day. It could be a little stormy outside. All right, and don't wear shorts. That's it.